Good afternoon, folks, and welcome back to EduSteps, powered by Ladder Your Success, where we help you navigate life, learning, and leveling up. I'm your host, LYS Podcast, and today we're diving into the digital world, which we're going to talk about something a lot of us use every day, social media. It can be a powerful tool for connection and creativity, but it can also be a trap. We're calling this episode the social media trap. How your online presence can affect your future. We got the full squad here today. We got Festus, founder of LYS, Daniel Hill, and the newly minted Dr. Jamar Crawford. How we doing today, folks?
Good.
Doing great. How about you, man?
Doing swell, man. Happy to be with y'all here on this Sunday. Festus, how you doing today, brother?
Always good, man. Always good. You know what it is. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.
Indeed, man, indeed. So before we jump in, I got a quick question for everybody. What's one piece of advice you'd give to a high school student about their online presence?
I don't know. I was gonna say this. Like I tell my students all the time, Facebook is not a secret. So stop thinking you post something on their Instagram that people won't see it later on. Everybody think that only certain people gonna see your stuff. Bro, the world see your stuff. That stuff is there forever.
That's a good one. When you post, just imagine that's going to be there forever. Yeah.
For me, I think is that it's not real life. You know what I'm saying? So maybe we retitled the episode In Real Life, you know what I'm saying? Because I think social media is a caricature of life. And so don't take it too seriously, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not real life.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
My advice would be to just use it as a tool to improve whatever your goals may be in general. If we just use it as a tool, then we can use certain aspects of it to learn from it and taking what Festus just said as a grain of salt, because it's not real life. Some parts of it is, at least.
Definitely. Here on EduSteps, we try to use our own be no do methodology to deal with these topics and the issues of the day. So with that being said, we're going to start off with the B, the mindset and the character traits needed to thrive online. It's easy to get caught up in likes and followers, but a healthy online presence begins with being intentional and responsible. A recent report from the World Health Organization showed a rise in problematic social media use, with 11% of adolescents struggling to control their usage, which can lead to negative consequences like anxiety and depression. On top of that, a survey found that 46% of adolescents from the ages of 13 to 17 said social media makes them feel worse about their body image. So this shows that online life, to your point, Festus, isn't separate from your real life, right? Even though it's not real life, it is shaping people's real life. So they are taking it a little too seriously, right? It does shape who they are and how they feel about themselves. Being intentional means thinking before you post. I think our idea was around that thing was like, this thing that you're posting may become more than what its intention is, right? Think about every photo, every comment, everything you're sharing as a reflection of your character. It's about, you're basically working on building your reputation from a young age. It's not just a profile. So my question for the group is, how can a student develop a more intentional mindset when using social media? What are some signs that a student may be falling into the social media trap, and how can they regain a sense of responsibility for their online presence? Go ahead, Festus. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the biggest thing is it's how you start. You know what I'm saying? How you start on social media, how you get introduced to something matters significantly. When we were with our sons at the pediatrician, and he was asking us to have a certain conversation. And it's a conversation most parents be like, yo, hold up. And I also was like, yo, hold up, this is young. But he said something that was really powerful to me. He said, whoever introduces the kids to this thing becomes the subject matter expert. They're going to be viewed as the authority and the smartest about that thing. So I was like, wow. So imagine all the things, that you don't talk to your kids about. And if you have all of these different authorities, that's where they get to the point of you don't know anything, mom or dad, you know what I'm saying? And so just think about the same thing in social media, because if somebody is getting DM'd, click this link and see this, and that's the introduction to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on. That's what they're talking about in the DMs. And now all of a sudden, that's the only thing social media is about, is that link in the DM, instead of the parts of it that could be good, linking up with lost family members you don't get to see often, finding work, gaining information, getting education. Because the big thing about it is, in terms of that intentionality and that first exposure, is the fact that sets your algorithm, and your algorithms are reflecting of you. So whatever you start clicking on and liking, it sets a chain of events that can skew your vision. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop there.
I think that just the students identifying what their purpose is for being on social media. So when I try to put myself in their place, it is to stay connected to their friends and stay connected to whatever's going on currently in pop culture. But I think that if parents are able to, like Festus basically talked about, have the conversations with their students about that and inform them of the possible things to be aware of and red flags and things of that nature, as well as responsible use with it, I think that will go a long way versus parents not having certain conversations with their students and the students just blindly engaging in social media, and they're going to do whatever they see their friends or people in their immediate social circle doing.
Love it. Great way to think about it. Absolutely. That was where I was thinking. Sure. Theo, did you have anything you wanted to drop in on that?
No, man, I'm good. Appreciate it, though.
For sure. So I wanted to go over this case, looking for some real world situations that I wanted us to talk about. A well-known case, or one of the most well-known cases that had to deal with social media and its effect on the real world, is it involves Harvard University. So in 2017, Harvard rescinded, they took back admission offers for at least 10 students after discovering they had participated in a private Facebook group chat. In the chat, the students shared offensive memes and jokes, some of which mocked minorities and sexual assault. Even though the chat was private, the content was reported to the university, proving that private online spaces aren't truly secure.
Hey, LYS fam. It's Ole once again. You know, these days, many families are busy but want personalized attention. We at Laddering Your Success understand this dilemma and have created a unique approach to help guide you and your child with personal development tools to build a life of purpose. This intimate approach is helpful for those parents that feel the need to have a focused heart-to-heart conversation deciding on the next steps after high school. We provide individual post-secondary planning, virtual customized college and career counseling, and scholarship guidance and planning. Our one-on-one sessions are tailored to each individual student to maximize their potential in the post-secondary realm. With our guidance, your child will be able to make their dreams a reality. Don't wait. Simply go to lys.com/parents to get your copy today. Now let's get back to business on this podcast.
So my question for y'all is, how does this Harvard case study challenge the idea of privacy in the digital age? And what does this mean for your long-term reputation if you're in the ages of 13 to 17? But let's be honest, if you're in the ages from 8 plus, because I've seen kids that are 8 years old that have a cell phone, that have access to Instagram and TikTok and Messenger and all these other things, right? We've come a long way from the IM, from instant messenger, right? It's a lot different now. You got it at the palm of your hand. So how does this Harvard case study challenge the idea of privacy in the digital age? And what does this mean for your long-term reputation?
I think privacy has been constantly changing over the years, and what is the line for privacy? The line for privacy before used to be just anything that you didn't keep to yourself. And now when you got, for example, digital IP, digital rights, digital media. So now the thing is, if you don't put a passcode on it, if you don't lock a person out permanently, right? Then, and if it's not encrypted, then it's no longer private. And the reality is, even with some of those encryptions, it's no longer private, because the real thing now with this whole, and most of this started around the time with the war on terror and the introduction of the FISA courts and things like that. I don't want to get too off subject, but the line became, what do we allow to be private in order to protect the public? And so that's the real thing, is that if you have certain beliefs, make certain threats online, there sometimes has to be a repercussion, because something true can come of it. And those who are in positions of power and authority, in order to protect the public, have to take those things serious. So somebody's, yo, I'm gonna roll up with my strap and I'm gonna do whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. The thing is, if they're showing you with online pictures of pistols, pictures of guns, they have to act, right? And so this, fortunately or unfortunately, the same is true when it comes to hate. And I think the caveat there is that there can be differing definitions of hate, right? So to me, I'm not going to say Harvard is fully justified, because my thing is, I don't know how they got the information. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was like, yo, let me just search and, oh, there it goes. Or if they had a hacker go in and try to hack, or if they said, hey, open your profiles, let us see your phones. This is part of being a student, because Harvard is a research institution, and for research institutions, depending on what you're doing as a student, you could need security clearances for certain research. And so they could have been checking for those reasons as well. So there's still some ambiguity to how Harvard got that info, you know what I'm saying? But it's one of those things. The only way to keep something truly private is to keep it to yourself, or physically. If you ain't trying to show somebody physically that, hey, look, it ain't private no more.
I think that education is real important when it comes to this, as far as digital literacy, because if people are informed and educated about how technology works, then you will know that nothing is private, regardless of what measures or parameters you take. It doesn't matter if it's encrypted or not encrypted. Nothing you put online is private. And that's the part of education that I feel like people need to understand, that type of literacy when it comes to technology. So with that being said, anything that is put into place to make it private or to block can be undone from another factor. So if you go forward with the mindset that nothing is private, regardless of the parameters that I put on it, then we could alleviate some of these acts that are being done and completed. So with the students in that situation, they're thinking they're doing this stuff in private. The problem again with that, you need internet access to put that in. Someone controls your internet access. Those people who control your internet access have access to whatever you're doing and not doing on the internet, and you can see that. So basically nothing is private when it comes to participating in online activities.
Wonderful way to think about it. Wonderful way to look into it. I agree. All right. So let's jump into the know portion, right? We're going to talk about knowing the facts, knowing the consequences, the know perspective. So what do we need to understand about the real world consequences of our digital footprint? Your online presence isn't just for friends and followers. It's increasingly being seen by college admissions officers and future employers. A recent Career Builder survey found that 70% of employers use social networking sites to research job candidates. And more than half of them have found content that caused them not to hire someone. What are they looking for? They're looking for inappropriate content. They're looking for discriminatory comments or bad-mouthing a previous company. It's not just about what you say, but what you like and how you engage with others. And it's not just jobs. 2025 survey from Kaplan Test Prep found that nearly 1/3 of college admissions officers admit to checking applicants' social media profiles. The good news is that what they find can be positive, such as evidence of a student's passions or community involvement. But the bad news is that a simple post from years ago could be a red flag. So my question for the group is, how can a student and the family realistically evaluate the potential negative consequences of their online activity? What are some examples of positive online content that can help a student stand out to admissions officers or employers?
They can look at their online activity. They can look at their online activity as a constant interview. So your activity, your actions online, social media, whatever the different platforms are, should be reflective of where you're trying to go and head in life. What are your goals? And that should be a direct reflection of that.
Wonderful. I love that. Continuous interview. I love that.
My bad. I couldn't.
Go ahead, Festus.
No, I was gonna say I agree 1,000%. Is hey, if you post certain things online, then that's an indication of who you are outside of here. And I think more and more, as people don't understand that businesses are investing in you when they hire you. And so they want to know what their investment is. And some people will argue, what about the superstar athletes and things like that? And I think we had a good example of that. What's his name? Jay Morant or whatever his name is. And it's, hey, somebody posted him with a blicky, and next thing you say, yo, you're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? I think that's one of the things is that people want to know what you're doing when you're not here, because you could be exposing us to something we don't want to be exposed to. You know what I'm saying? You got people, their offline antics show up at work, and you got to bring your whole self to work. People want to know that. You know what I'm saying? I think especially when you talk about some of these larger employers, that's something that they're going to be looking at. Oh, hold on, wait, is this person on social? What are they doing on social? Even particularly in the pre-hiring phase, looking at the research you sent over, Ole, shout out to you for sending over that research. And it said that up to 26% of people were posting criminal activity on their social media, and that's why they weren't getting a job. 26%. So if 4 people apply for a job, one of them was involved in criminal activity, looking for a job. Let that sink in, the amount of stuff that's being posted. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing. Real thugs ain't filling out job applications. You know what I'm saying? So if a real thug ain't filling out a job application, and 26% of people who do apply to jobs are, it lets you how deep this runs and how companies are trying to protect that investment. You know what I'm saying? I would think as a student, think twice about what you post. Even early, start cleaning up that social media. Go and delete those. Yes, they could find them later. You know what I'm saying? But at least they're going to do work to find them later. Justice Kavanaugh, he's running for Supreme Court. They're pulling up his high school photos before internet even came. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, let alone, you know what I'm saying? You trying to show off your abs, and words of Lauryn Hill, you showing off your girlfriend. You ain't even try to pretend. But anyway, y'all.
Nah, I love it. I love it.
Hey, LYS fam. It's Ole. Thanks so much for listening to LYS. I just wanted to take a quick moment to talk to the parents. That's right, mom and dad. Parents, prepare your child for their best educational fit after high school with our comprehensive LYS Parents Guidebook. Our helpful guide includes a range of activities designed to help you better understand your child's unique gifts and abilities. Additionally, we provide valuable insights into the student loan debt crisis and offer practical tips on how to avoid accumulating large amounts of debt. Our ebook also includes a wealth of information on scholarships, grants, and payment exemptions that can help guide your child towards a bright and successful future. With our expert guidance, you can rest assured that your child is well prepared to make informed decisions about their education and career path. Don't let your child's future be in jeopardy. Invest in their future today by downloading the LYS Parents Guidebook. Simply go to lys.com/parents to get your copy today. Now let's get back to the show, because you know it's some good topics.
Oh, go ahead, D Hill. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, that's real, man. Everything he said and both of them said, and also who you take pictures with, who you hang around with. You post yourself with the wrong people, they coming with them too. You can look at your boy right now. That's been like, there was an NFL coach who was supposed to get a promotion and do something, but they pulled something back from 10 years ago, a tweet he did, which is crazy. That's a long search from way back in the day, bro. And your boy, what's named Trump, about to get in trouble because he had a picture with who, that Epstein dude. So you better watch that, who he take pictures with, and post that too. And like you said, them pictures weren't even on it wasn't on social media back then. That was the 80s. Somebody went and upload that picture. You know what I'm saying? And then put it. So you gotta watch out what you do and who you hang out with and what you post. Because I think there's even a group of people they hire now who search out your stuff on Instagram and Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. I think they even have companies have people who go in and do that. So yeah, watch out what you post, because like I said, it's not a secret.
Great point. Great point. I think what you said, D Hill, about being careful who you take pictures with is really key, because the way these algorithms work now, they basically keep a database of your face. And so that database is already connected with records and systems already. So when I say records and systems, I mean at a county, at a local, county, city, state, national level, right? So if you're wanted for any crime and you've got a whole bunch of pictures with someone who's a suspected drug lord or suspected felon or something, that connection is going to be made, right? Even to the point now where you're hearing about people who are traveling internationally and are having to stay because of things that they posted or things that they've liked. Now, slippery slope. Professors brought up the wonderful point about things that happened during the Patriot Act, post-September 2001. So there's just so many different things that play a part into this. And I was actually thinking about some of in the 2000s. They were basically about 10 years apart. We had two major events that drastically changed the social, economic, cultural environment of the country. That was September 11th, and that was COVID. If you do the math, it was pretty much about 10 years apart. And so it just goes to show how much more important it is now in 2025 for our young people who are posting, who have those groups, because I've seen those groups. I've seen the things that are shared. Some of it essentially equivocates to just very vulgar things that people will go to jail for a long time for. I'll just keep it that way. So it's that much more important for our young people to understand the power now of the thumbs, of the Twitter fingers, right? Let's go ahead. We're going to talk action. We're going to talk about the do. What practical steps can a student take to build positive online presence and avoid the trap? So a couple quick things. You can do a digital audit. You can go back through your social media profiles, especially your older ones, and delete or archive any questionable photos, videos, or posts. This includes things with offensive language, drug or alcohol use, or negative rants. Prioritize your privacy. Number 2, take control of who can see your content. Use privacy settings and make sure only friends or family can see your posts. Be careful about who you accept as a follower. Remember, even if your account is private, others can still screenshot and share your content. You can also you can build a positive brand. Don't just clean up the negative, but actively create the positive. Showcase your passions. Unless your passions are like drugs and alcohol, don't showcase your passion. Showcase your positive passion, right? Showcase your achievements. Showcase your volunteer work. Share articles related to your interests or comment thoughtfully on posts from leaders in your field. Think of your online presence as your personal brand, a professional portfolio that you control. And before we go on, I already know what a lot of these students are going to say. Man, that's corny. Man, that's whack. Man, that's dumb. Fine. Don't do it. Period. We are here as a resource to help those who are willing to listen, right? The facts can be, we've already went over the facts. We've already gone over what the people who are looking for the jobs, who are looking to hire the people for the jobs, who are looking to accept the people into the schools, what they're looking for, right? You don't want to do it? That's absolutely fine. You are more than welcome to continue to do what you do. We're just offering this as a resource, right? But ask yourself, is my online presence a true reflection of the person I want to be, or is it a performance for other people? And I know that's something for a lot of other people. They feel this need to truly be authentically themselves. But I think it's that idea of formal and informal communication. We will learn that. There's a way that Festus and I and Dr. Crawford and D. Hill talk when we're just hanging out. And there's a way that we talk when we're in more of a formal, more professional setting. And I think you need to approach social media to that same way.
Hey, LYS fam, it's Ole. You know, if there's one thing I love, it's something free. I'm talking free 99, un gratis. No shipping or handling fees, no gotcha fees, nothing like that. With that being said, if you're graduating soon or thinking about college or need a nudge or help to decide, then our free ebook, 10 Things to Think About Before Going to College, has a very balanced and open-minded way of presenting your next steps. It captures broad topics in a personal way by giving students an insightful, interactive, and reflective source of inspiration. It is very beneficial to be able to visualize some of the concepts after high school and apply them directly to you. We all know life, college, and career planning decision-making choices for students can be challenging, especially as they near the completion of high school. This book will provide you with a self-paced guide to your success beyond academics and into real life. Not only is it free, you can complete this book within a week. This will definitely prepare you for long-term success. To get your free copy, simply go to lys.com/students. I mentioned it was free, right? Well, if I didn't, it's free. Like, for real, for real. Okay, back to the podcast.
So before we close out, I want to just open it up to the crew, to the squad. You guys got any other things that we can do from a due perspective, right, to execute this plan with success? Also, what I said about some of those thoughts about people who may see this as, man, that's whack, or people who may see this as they want to show who they are. They feel like they should have that free speech, and it not. So they shouldn't have to deal with backlash for them being themselves authentically, which I think you get a lot more of these days.
Sure, I got you, bro. What people don't understand is this. People have told them, yeah, you have free speech, but you also have a right to get a punch in the face for that free speech. Like, I mean, but you can cuss somebody out, but there's consequences to cuss somebody out. You can go to your job and tell your boss to shut up, but you still gonna get fired. You can do what you want to. That's like even when people protest, I be telling people like, oh yeah, like even back in the day, like people protested far rights was good, but they knew there was consequences for even doing what's right. People today need to start understanding there's consequences when you open your mouth, either you doing good or right. But understand this, something's going to happen. Free speech free speech does not mean no consequence.
I love that. Free speech does not mean no consequences. I love it. Dr. Crawford, Festus, you got anything you want to drop in?
Yeah, it'll be just for the parents to just make sure we have the conversations with the students so that we can educate them to make the best decisions while participating in social media.
Yeah, I'll chime in on that. I think we might even need to come up later and do an episode just for the parents. Is that parents, what you do with your kids online matters. What you allow them to do online matters. I know there was a recent news story about the mom who was killed for cutting off the Wi-Fi. And it just goes to show the level of disconnect that there is, and also the level of power and influence that there is when it comes to allowing too much social online and just online access in general, not even necessarily social media. But when some people say, what's the correlation? Part of the correlation is taking the time to build a relationship with your child so that when you say something, your child knows where you're coming from. And I'll just use this example personally, is that our kids have been in swim lessons. And one of the things is a lot of Black people don't swim. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. And then number two is that we don't go to the pool that often. So they don't have a chance to practice what they do. And so we said, okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we, after their lessons, stay over a little bit? And so I was asking my sons, like, hey, do some of these things that basically were done in the swim lessons, because to have another pool where there's a water slide and you have to have a certain swim score to be able to get on a water slide. And so I'm asking him to do those things. He's tuning me out, doing his own thing. And I'm like, the reason I'm asking you to do these things is so you could pass that test so you could get on the water slide. But since you want to look at me like I got 3 eyes, you know what I'm saying? Then it is what it is. After that, I just went about my business. Next, he started doing everything I asked him to do when I wasn't looking, right? And I think that's the influence we ultimately want on our children, is that it's not, did you do everything when I ask you the way I ask you at that exact moment? Is there enough influence that when I'm not around, that you're making good decisions? And I think the same is true again with just social media and online and building relationships. I'll close out with that, and then Ole, I'll turn it back to you, and then I'll close out with a final statement.
No, for sure. Thank you. I thought about what you said earlier. Whoever introduces something to a child is going to be considered the SME, the subject matter expert. And so I went back to that. I think that's a great thing, especially for the parents to remember, right? I wonder if for some parents, they ask themselves, hold on, that means I got to know it. And it's, yeah. But even if you don't know it as comfortable as you do, just use that wisdom. There are plenty of resources to help you as you go along in this process. Speaking of which, we have some wonderful ebooks for not just parents, but students and for teachers, educators. So please be sure to go on www.ladderinyoursuccess.com and take a look at some of those things to help grow your relationship with your student or with your child. Folks, at Laddering Your Success, we believe that your purpose is the foundation for everything you do. Your online presence is part of your story, not the whole thing. The goal is to ensure your digital footprint aligns with your values and helps you become the person you want to be. It's about more than just managing your accounts. It's about being true to your purpose, both online and off. As I said before, ask yourself, how does my online presence help me define my purpose? What am I learning about my own values? And what kind of leader, teammate, and friend do I want to be? If this episode has helped you think more critically about your online presence, don't let it end here. Please visit the Edge of Step section on Laddering Your Success website for links to resources and a free ebook, 10 things every student should know before they leave high school, to help you audit and build your digital footprint and to ladder your success. Folks, this has been Edge of Steps with Ole Shalanki and the LYS squad, Dr. Jamar Crawford, Daniel Hill, Festus Moye. Until next time, walk in purpose, explore your world, and level up your life. Festus, hit us with the phrase that pays, my good sir.
So listen, there are legitimate excuses for not going to college. There's no legitimate excuse for not getting an education. Thanks for watching this episode of Edge of Steps, powered by Laddering Success, and we'll see you on the next episode.